So we're learning Bnei Machshava Tova, a society of positive mindfulness, by the Piazetzner Rebbe, the Rebbe of the Warsaw Ghetto, who was killed by the Nazis in a concentration camp in 1943, buried all his manuscripts, and they were found after the war. And amazing, amazing life lessons. And so far, we've said that what we want to do is we want to have a goal in mind. We want to have a goal in mind. What are you trying to achieve? But then we need a crew. Who's the crew? Who's your unit? Do you have a good unit? Are you brothers? Are you there for each other? Are you putting each other down? Or are you working towards the same goal together? That's how we win. And we said really the goal in life is to be God conscious. God not just as some kind of concept that I believe in or don't believe in, but actually there is a reality, a palpable reality. Do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Whoa. Isn't that crazy? Now obviously not a man in the sky. Infinite consciousness, creator of the universe. Yeah?
Right.
Wow. See? We need the man. It's all good. I still forgot the thing. You didn't. What's up? So great. That's a good thing. But so if we believe in God, one would imagine that then God is going to be the kind of center of our consciousness. It would be really weird to believe in God, and then it was just something that didn't actually impact your life at all. So there are many people out there, and I've spoken to many people, who they're great people, and they got their jobs and they have their entertainment, and you say, do you believe in God? And they say yes, and then you say, well, what role does God play in your life? And they're like, I don't know, I just believe in God. And I'm like, well no, hold on. If you believe in infinite consciousness, creator of the universe, who then created the universe, that means there's a purpose to life. So one would imagine that you should have God consciousness a lot. Now Judaism says Shiviti Hashem lenegdi tamid, which means we should be God conscious all the time. We should literally be walking through life conscious of infinite consciousness. And if we did that, Shmuel, life would be so good and sweet and meaningful and deep and real. You'd be walking around in a whole different universe to someone else. Whole different. We said before that different people, depending on who they are, see the world through different lenses. So my wife is an artist. So walking in the park, and she looked up at a tree and she goes, can you believe how many different shades of green are in that tree? And the sun was shining, whatever. And I looked up and I was like, green tree, what are you talking about? But then she pointed out, there's the olive green and that green, and where the shadow falls, it's that green. And so my wife saw 50 different greens in that tree. I just saw a tree green. My sister is a doctor. We walk down the street, she diagnoses everyone. He's got that, really. He's got that, his feet are that. So she sees the world, and I think like mathematicians see the world through maths, and geologists see the world in a certain way. Philosophers see the world in a certain way. A Jew is meant to see the world through God eyes. We're meant to be looking at through God eyes or Torah eyes. That's how we see. For example, when you go into a shop. Well, no. The best example is my wife makes cookies. Sometimes she makes gluten-free cookies because I try to avoid gluten. Gluten-free cookies, you say the blessing shehakol. Gluten not free cookies, free gluten. Gluten not free cookies, you say mezanot. We have spelt cookies, mezanot. So when my wife gives me a cookie, I say to her, what is this? And she knows I'm not saying to her, what are the ingredients? She knows I'm saying, and she'll be like, it's a shehakol. Because I see the world through halakha, through Jewish law. What's the right way to approach this? Not, by the way, as we've said many times, because of OCD, obligation, burdensome, I better get the right law. But no, what an amazing opportunity to do it in the right way, to do the right thing, to have consciousness and meaning in everything I do all the time. It's amazing. I love halakha. Halakha is mindfulness. How do I live a mindful life? So far we've said we've got to live with the purpose in mind. And to the extent that you're living with the purpose in mind, you're living a meaningful life. Once you forget why you're alive and you're just going through the motions, just okay, you're not a bad person, not a value judgment, but you've lost the vitality and the drive and the motivation. What am I trying to achieve? And we said what we're trying to do in the world is be God conscious. And we said to serve Hashem, and we explained at length that it doesn't mean there's an angry man in the sky who needs me to serve him. It means that Hashem is the ultimate master and knows what's best for us, and we've got to choose who we want to make our master. Are we going to make our society our master, our ego our master, our physical cravings our master? No, I'm going to make infinite consciousness my master, because that master knows what's best for me. Fine. אבל אבינו, אבא רחמן רחם עלינו והאיר בליבנו ניצוץ רצון ודעת. And then he opens the next paragraph with a prayer. In the middle of the book. He got the book and he says, Father, our sweet, merciful, loving Father, have mercy on us and awaken within our hearts a spark of ratzon and das. First of all, it says in The Way of God, Derech Hashem, one of the most classic works of Jewish philosophy, that the first hishtadlus, the first effort in anything you ever do has to be prayer, tefillah. Bring Hashem into that. So if you can't make a decision, you're not sure what decision, the first thing you do before asking your mentors and doing research is, Hashem, please help me make this decision. If you're working on your character traits before going to therapy or reading a blog post on how to work on those character traits, Hashem, please help me work on these character traits. I need you. The more you bring Hashem into the picture, the more chance you have to succeed, because your Yetzer Hara, your negative power, is very strong. And you can't really beat it on your own, so you need to bring Hashem into the picture all the time. So he starts with the prayer, help us to awaken within us. And by the way, you're going to see in the Rambam and in lots of Piazetzner work, all the way, or everywhere, this word, v'ha'ir. What does that mean? The shoresh, the root of the word is ayin resh. What does ayin resh mean? Air. That's nice, but that's or. Close there. Air means to awaken. Awaken. It's a very, very, very important word. The Rambam says the purpose of a mezuzah is to awaken you every time you walk through a doorway, awaken you to the fact of God. It's not just sticking on the door there to look pretty, it's to make it why. What does that mean? You think, I'm not awake? How can I be walking through a doorway if I'm not awake? Why am I sleepwalking? So what he's saying is, yes, you're not called awake. Just going through your everyday life, doing your chores and living, even your religious duties, it doesn't mean you're awake if you're a zombie. If you're not conscious, if you're not God conscious, it's not called being awake. Do you know why we blow the shofar? Elul's coming up pretty soon, guys. We blow the shofar. The Rambam says to wake us up. Wake up. And we blow the shofar at the end of Shachrit, the morning service. So it's not saying wake up, i.e. get out of bed. It's not like doo-doo. It's not an alarm clock. Although some people are asleep at the end of Shachrit, which is a problem. Is to say, now you finish Shachris, you're going into your daily life. Are you really awake? You walk. I ride my bike here to school. I see people walking along, they don't look so awake to me. They're awake. So we've got to have hisayrus. Hisayrus means aliveness. Be alive. Are you alive? So Hashem, aliven within us a spark of ratzain v'das. We're also building a vocabulary. I hope you're writing this down, because you need a vocabulary. If you want to become a master in anything, you need the words. And you can't always translate the words very well, but you have to understand the word. Once again, in medicine, in any area of life, you have to have your vocabulary. So yesterday we spoke about tamimut, purity, simplicity. We spoke about shlemut, wholesomeness. Today our words are ratzon v'das. Ratzon means desire, comes from the word related to the word ratz, which means to run. And it really means, what are you running towards? What are you invested in? What are you invested in? You see let's say you see your favorite sports star at the, someone says your favorite sports star is right now at the Kotel just for 2 minutes there. Or your favorite movie or singer, your favorite, whatever it is, that guy that you just love is at the Kotel, but he's leaving in 2 minutes. You know what you'd do? You'd run out of this room. You'd be like, I'm so sorry, Rabbi, but it's this guy, I'm sorry. I know you're teaching me the most important things that any human could ever know, but I've got to take a picture of this very tall guy who throws a ball into the basket. And you run fast. Get out of my way, you push. And the guards at the Kotel enter, you've got to go through the machine. You're like, no machine, fly it. I don't care if I get arrested. It's worth getting arrested so I don't miss it. I'm going to run through, I'm going to get my selfie, and then they'll arrest me, so I'll be in prison for a day. So what? At least I got my selfie with the very tall man who throws the ball into a basket. That's called ratzon. Rats. You running, I'm running. So in our avoda, in our life, in our work, you got to run. Are you running? Did you run to Shachris this morning? You're like, I just got to go there. I just got to be there. I just want to go. I'm running. So some people are running towards money. Some people are running towards fame. Some people are running towards feeding their physical pleasures. Some people are running towards God. I'm just running. Get out my way. Sorry. Now, obviously, when it comes to God, there's no get out my way because we're together. So we're like, I'm running towards God. Come with me. Let's pick everyone up. Let's go together. Because just me on my own towards God, it's not the right way. That's why we have a Cheburah, we have a group. So if there's someone who's so Mr. Holy that he's not loving every Jew and ultimately every human, you're not so holy. If you're going to run so fast that you leave everyone else behind, you messed it up. Rather stay behind and go a bit slower because you're schlepping everyone with you. Much better. Hashem likes that. Hashem doesn't want you to be Mr. Holy if you're going to then look down on other people. Hashem would rather you Mr. a little less holy with a few people with me. That's why some people say to me, but Rabbi, I don't like davening in a minyan. I don't have kavanah in a minyan because people are coughing and they're davening too fast. I like davening on my own. And I say to them, but Hashem doesn't want that. Hashem wants you to daven worse in a minyan. Huh? What would Hashem rather? You have the best ever, unbelievable kavanah, intention, godly experience, praying the Shemona Esrei on your own, or you pray not so well, but with 9 other men. Shmuel, you know the answer. He doesn't want your lofty, weirdo, spiritual kavanah on your own, especially because the words of the Shemona Esrei are all in the plural. Shema Koleinu, Rifayenu. It's all the no. So if you're davening on your own, Hashem's like, no. Where is everyone? What are you doing? There is something called private, personal prayer that you're meant to do on your own. You're meant to get up in the middle of the night and go to the park and scream to Hashem. That's great. You should do that. Hashem wants that. But not Shemona Esrei, Shachris, Mincha, Mariv, breakfast, lunch, dinner. You be with the people. Amazing Shemona Esrei. Mincha, unbelievable kavanah on your own, or not great kavanah in a minyan. Passion. Yes?
If you struggle keeping up with the minyan.
You don't need to. You just have to walk in together. You don't have to keep up with the minyan, you have to walk in together. And once you're in together, then you can just pray for the rest of the day. They go home, they've gone home. That's fine. You can stand about. You get there and you start together, and once you started together, then that's fine.
Even if you don't end up doing Shemona Esrei with them?
No, start Shemona Esrei together. You have to walk in the Shemona Esrei together. So if you see that it takes you 40 minutes from when you start davening to get to Shemona Esrei, and everyone started praying 20 minutes before, and it takes them 20 minutes, so you start sooner then. You got to get a head start. It's a different sort of pre-gaming, baby. You used to be like, pre-game! Wasted! We're like, let's pre-game! Morning brachas! And you know what we used to do in yeshiva? We used to get 2 people together, me and Rabbi Eid, before you were born, children, and we'd say the morning brachas for each other to say amen to. And you want Rabbi Eid to say amen to brachas. It's like, whoa. So we took our time. I'm taking my time. You got to plan it. I know what time they step into Shemona Esrei. However long it takes me to get there, that's when I'm starting. We step in together.
Does that mean Shacharis mean Kamarav? We'll have to, like, let's say I'm not here and I'm in Australia, I'd have to go to shul 3 times a day, basically.
You have the amazing opportunity to join other Jewish men in praising the Lord with these ancient, beautiful, deep, powerful words 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Wow. Oh, what, you mean I have to eat breakfast, lunch and dinner? What? Do I have, what, I have to have a massage in the morning, in the afternoon and at night? What? Well, that's not bad.
If you're working full time, it's not possible. Because let's say
It
you
depends.
work in a place where there's no, like...
If it's very, very difficult, then you can bring it on. It's not, if it's not your fault.
Okay.
But one would imagine that once you're very, very committed to God consciousness, you're not going to work in a place or a job that you can't daven mincha with a minyan. Lots of offices in Manhattan have minyanim in the offices. You can get a list, it's online, a PDF, minyanim in Manhattan, hundreds of them. If you're in Upper West Side, Lower West Side here, there's a minyan in this office building, in this office building. So once you're committed, I'm just so busy I don't have time to eat lunch. Never say that, do you? But yes, Hashem's very wonderful and sweet and understanding. And as long as you're trying, Hashem's like, that's so beautiful. But for your own sake. Imagine you're working very, very hard, and you're out there in the world, and then you can stop your work day for 15 minutes and gather together with at least 9 other Jewish men and say these beautiful words together, breathing deeply through your nose. Ashrei Yoshvei V'esach. Do you know what would that do to the rest of your day? You'll just be a nicer person and be happier. But yes, if you can't, you can't. You do your best. Yes, please.
What if you said that God sort of says that it's better for me to pray in a minyan, even if I don't sort of like feel it as much. But what if I'm more motivated to feel it basically? And so like if I'm davening in a minyan every time, sort of I have that idea it's better to daven in a minyan. So I'm sort of like, I don't know what I'm davening right now.
Well, it's not an either or. It's not daven on your own with kavanah or daven in a minyan without kavanah. You can daven in a minyan with kavanah. It's a crazy idea. It's like when people say to me, what's better? Someone who doesn't do mitzvahs but is very connected to God, or someone who does mitzvahs but doesn't feel very connected to God? And I say, well, it's okay, it's not a choice, you can do both. You can do mitzvahs and feel connected to God.
But it feels easier.
Oh, definitely easier, but in general, that's not one of our major factors in deciding what we do in life. Well, it's easier to stay in bed than get out of bed. Well, yeah, well, I'll take that into consideration. In fact, it's the opposite. It's the opposite. We often do the opposite. If it's harder, it means it's more meaningful, and we're going to grow. So, yeah, you know what I think about easier said than done. It's easier said than done. That's why I'm going to do it, because it's easier said than done. The next word we have is das. Hashem, merciful one, please awaken within my heart a little spark of ratzon, desire, and das. What is das? Dalid ayin taf. Dat. Dat, many meanings. Many meanings. I'm going to translate it today as awareness. Awareness. Das. I'm being aware. Conscious and aware. And I'm going to explain what this means. There are 3 major intellectual faculties. They're called Chokhmah, Bina, and Das. CBD. It's how you reach higher levels of consciousness. And I'm going to tell you what it means. And I use this example every time. If you've been in my class, you've heard this before. Who here knows that London is the capital of England? You're good? Even Americans. I think you got that one. You all know that London is the capital of England? So how many times did you know that today? How many times did you think to yourself, you were walking along and you're like, oh yeah, London's the capital of England? The answer is, not one. Well, once, when I just told you. Now, by the way, I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying you didn't. It didn't come into your consciousness. Did you have the information? Yes. If you had a multiple choice test, what is the capital of England? London, Paris, or Rome? Would you get it right? Yes. That means you have chokhmah, you have the information. I know, but das is, I'm aware, I'm thinking about it. It's in my consciousness. Who here knows that elephants have 4 legs? Yeah? You know that, don't you? So you have chokhmah, you have the wisdom, you have the information. How many times did you think about that today? Not once, which means you didn't have das. Das is being consciously aware. So who here knows that there's an infinite, conscious, divine, loving creator of the universe who is keeping your heart beating right now and loves you unconditionally? Yeah. So how many times did you think about that today? So hopefully a little bit more than elephants in London. Especially if you haven't shachris and you said any brachas today. Like, if you didn't, that's a real big problem. But das means I'm aware of it. It's in my mind. It's on my consciousness. So he's begging Hashem, please help me actually start being aware, conscious, God conscious. I want to be God conscious. And it says you have to know Hashem, Ladat. Ladat doesn't mean this is how we described it before. It's the difference between knowing about and knowing. Knowing about and knowing. So you can know everything about a human being. Your favorite football player, you know everything about him, how tall he is, how many points he scored, who he's cheating on his wife with, what team he plays for, how much he costs, and whatever. You know everything. If you don't know him, same with Hashem. You can know all about Hashem and the gematria of Hashem and Hashem wrote the Torah, but it doesn't mean you know Hashem. You don't have an intimate relationship. Das means an intimate relationship. The first time it's used in the Torah, it says, Adam yada et chava ishta. Adam knew his wife. That means intimacy. They had intimacy. So the word das means an intimate relationship. So if I'm not thinking about Hashem, then I'm not having an intimate relationship with Hashem. If there's a girl that you're obsessed with, you can't stop thinking about her. You don't need to be reminded to think about her. You don't put mezuzahs all over your house to remind you to think about that girl. But unfortunately, we're not as obsessed with Hashem as we are with that girl, so we need mezuzahs and brachas and right shoe first and mitzvahs and halachas just to try and get us to remember that there's an infinite, divine, conscious being who is keeping your heart beating right now and loves you unconditionally. That's pretty cool. Yes, please.
Did you skip Bina?
I skipped Bina just because it's not relevant for the class. But Bina is more of an intellectual faculty where you understanding. Bina really means understanding, where you put the picture together. You take different pieces of information and you analysis, you use it.
You said das is awareness and intimate relationship. So is it just awareness of the intimate relationship with God? Is that what you're trying to
Yes.
say?
I think awareness and intimate relationship are the same in terms of the fact that you are consciously aware of it. That's what's in your mind. It's a meaningful, present moment, experiential thing. Experience. You're meant to experience Hashem. Tamu ura'u kitav Hashem. You have to taste Hashem. And taste is an experience. Bezrat Hashem, we did another half a line today. We will finish the book in 8 years. Shabbos.